yet. We're back. Hello, comrades, and welcome to another episode of Under Construction. I'm your host, Ellis. Otherwise known as the Admiral, I'm beginning to work myself up for today. I'm beginning to wind up. I'm not the kind you have to wind up on Sundays, but Thursdays work just fine for me. Alright, we've got the stream rolling, so that means need to jump back into one of my favorite things to do every week. As we wait for folks to file in, we are going to, of course, try to break one of our high scores in Not Tetris. So, yes, excellent. Hopefully we get a half-decent turnout today. Today it's a pretty miserable sort of day for me. I've been kind of exhausted all week. I can talk about that sort of stuff later once we got people. I really should worry about, I should avoid talking about anything that could be hard-hitting or discussion topic worthy. Oh, shoot. That's not great. Before the people get here, before the viewers arrive, because I don't want to waste it. But boy, I have no shortage of things to talk about. I suppose I never really have a shortage of things to talk about. So I hope everyone that's watching this now and forever is as entertained as they can be. Oh, shoot. Well, that's not ideal. And then we have another square one coming down. I guess I'll put it on top of the first square one, and I will take this and slot it in here. Okay. Not really going to complain about that. And this can go here. Yo, it's Chris says good evening. Welcome to the stream, Chris. We will get started properly very soon. I hope. Well, you know what? I take that back. Hello, Stellar. I hope we don't get started soon. I hope I have plenty of time to try to beat this score. But with stuff like that happening, it's not looking very good. And because this is not Tetris, I really can't drop this. Like, it'll be a miracle. No. Nope, can't do it. I'm not that good at this game. In fact, I'm not even sure if there was enough space. That's the tough thing. You can't quite always tell. Sometimes you just want to rotate it into position, see if that does the trick. Thank you, Stellar. Stellar says good luck. I appreciate the wishes, the good luck wishes. But at this rate, we'll be done fairly soon. And then we will move on to the actual stream. Like I say every time, if you're watching this and you're saying, this says Trainz route building, why are we playing not Tetris? Or why are we perhaps not playing Tetris, in another way of speaking? This is my equivalent of the stream will start soon sort of things that YouTubers with actual production value do. Wow, we're going to get 4 at once. Maybe 5. No, 4 at once. Okay, I'll take that. We take those. And another one. Take one for free. Let's drop this down right here, and now that's definitely going to cause a line. If you give it some beans, if you jam them down there, it helps. It's more likely to consume a line that way, but that's 3 more lines done. We've had some good combos this time. If we can keep this up, we do have a reasonable chance a run at one of our high scores. And I say our because, of course, the audience has been with me there for every single one. Ever since I updated my computer and I lost my previous set of scores, which was actually a very long time ago now. This has been, basically, I'm fairly certain it's been exclusively done in Under Construction, or in, the prelude to streams and Under Construction. I don't remember what incentivized me, like, why I'm doing it, right? Like, the original reason. I mean, I know why I'm doing it, but I don't remember what was the inspiration for doing this as a stream starting panel. But the thing is, when we do this, I don't talk about it for the rest of the time, so it is its own thing. Well, let's see if I can drop down no, just the one. Okay. And that gives us 64. And that gives us 70. Is it because it is a repeat score? Oh, I want to put that over there. No, that's not good. We're on level 2, which doesn't really say much. We're not doing all that great. Not doing too hot. Already starting to get the itches. I feel like I'm always scratching at like my nose and my ears during these streams. I hope that doesn't make people start to notice it more than you already do, but you know, watch the stream, don't watch me. I'm down here for my reaction when crazy stuff happens. Not that crazy stuff tends to happen on these streams. I'm down here for the personability, right? I don't like parasocial relationships. I don't really enjoy them as a concept. I don't really care to interact with the folks on my favorite shows or that sort of thing. I'd rather either be friends with somebody or just, you know, just be a casual observer of their content, not a comment lever, right? You elevate to another form, you know, elevate to another level when you are a comment lever. You're engaging with the content, you're engaging with the people who make it, you're intentionally going out of your way to make your voice heard, right? Okay, that's 2 lines, that's pretty good. But it's not like you're trying to befriend these people, it's just you're trying to, you know, be acknowledged, almost. But to define it, because I understand that that's sort of it's a new age term, right? Parasocial being like interacting with a content creator, you know, not being friends with them, but having interactions with them. You know, like this, for example, responding to somebody on stream. It's a relatively one-sided conversation. I can get out 1,000 words in the time it takes somebody to type up a rebuttal. It really depends how fast my lips are flapping. But this is parasocial, but that's why I try to culture the Discord server in the way that I do and have these community playdates, because I do want to get to know everyone. And wow, can you stop sending us Z pieces? Oh my god. This is bad. I swear to god, I'm not intentionally throwing. This is bad. Oh no. No. That's the worst. That's okay. Okay. Remember what I said about, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Come on. No. And we aren't even close to the 5,000. Okay, well, whatever. We got Tolbrun to do. Let me make sure that I turn off the not Tetris thing in case, I don't know, I accidentally open it again. And Mopac is here, so we've got Chris and Stellar and Mopac, and welcome to the party. Mopac says he successfully did a foam. Congratulations. What did you foam? I don't know what the hell that was. I just heard a noise from outside, like things falling over. I think TJ's come in. We have a lot of stuff to do here. I did already switch to root layer, so that's good, that's important. Last time we were sort of pushing up the storm front, so to speak, of areas that we have, you know, areas that we've done scenery on. And with that in mind, we need to continue that. We need to keep pushing on with this. This is, yeah, I mean, we have it up to here, right? Also, I do want to clarify, I don't want anybody thinking that when I say I don't like parasocial relationships, I'm not meaning that I don't enjoy this kind of interaction and having, you know, fans, etc. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is I don't like being on the other end of that if I can help it, and also I would prefer to know somebody better than that, to interact with them more. I guess the word, I don't know if the word would be wholeheartedly, but, you know, to interact with someone on a more personal level than this. There's nothing wrong with this, obviously. There's nothing bad about it. Okay, we're going to have to do some intersections. We're going to have to get some roads done. It's not where my preference lies. It's not my goal, right? The goal is not to have a bunch of fans. That's not why I'm here. The goal is to hang out, make videos, make friends, and, of course, make trading cards. This was not an original goal. Don't get me wrong. This was not a whole money-making venture or trading card-making venture. I just really really love the fact that I have a group of people that will support this crazy idea and help me get them into museums and things like that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I implore you to check out our website. It's in the description. It is theironhorseman.com. And check out our line of steam locomotive trading cards. They may not be completely unique, but I believe they are the best. They have more data and utility and standardization than anything that's come out of any other organization, to my knowledge. They are closer to Yu-Gi-Oh cards than they are to baseball cards. They do something. Um, and I can't say we're on track on the production of our fourth batch of cards, but it's coming along as well as it can. I see Mopek has sent me the foam. Nice. I want to move these buildings out of the way because they need to go. Now, here's the thing. I need to look at some of this, because we have our industrial areas here, right? I don't think we're going to fit more industry in. In fact, we might even have this area be pretty green, pretty empty. We've got plenty of industries. We're a little short on parks, like formal parks. You know, there's green space, but there aren't parks. We need some of that. We have a little maintenance depot here, if you want to call it that, for the Department of Transportation. We have some other stuff for the civics. We need to look at probably things like fire departments, police stations, hospital, that sort of thing. Now, I think an area over here might not be bad for that kind of... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh is right. What is going on? Can I please have that roundhouse back? Oh god, I have to undo all this. I need to undo the roundhouse. I did all that grass work. Oh, there's the roundhouse back. Okay. You know what? We're just going to get rid of this. I'm going to try to remember what it is. The Santa Fe turntable. We don't need it. We definitely don't need it here. So I can't just send a turntable flying across the map like that. Bad things happen. Today we learned something. And we once again, we started off grabbing the wrong grass immediately. Again. Grass spline 1 next. There we go. So yeah. I will probably not be able to keep this going for the whole time, this level of energy and even the show. I don't think we're going to be here until 10 Eastern, which means that some of the folks that show up chronically late are not going to show up. But there's only so much I can do about that. I have been very, very tired this week. Just new routine. I am on a grand jury, which I can, of course, say nothing about other than it's been very interesting, and it has been, frankly, kind of exhausting. I've taken more notes than I think I did in some college courses. And with that in mind, you know, it's just... It's one of these things. It is keeping me busy in terms of thought process. What is this supposed to be? Ambulatory area? Military hospital. I mean, yeah, that's something. Hospital, large. Is this the same as the military? This is very similar. Very similar vibes to the military hospital. Hostler's Shanty. Boy, I can use that everywhere. But we have this hospital, which is interesting. Of course, says hospital on the front, as every good hospital should. Um, this is some sort of old station building, right? Glassworks. Okay. Um, or gasworks, I should say. I'm thinking of putting this and this together. They have very different, I guess you could say, art styles, but even then. Um, this area has got to be relatively new. I mean, trying to think about how this town would have grown up. And this area here, I don't know what would be here. Now, I know I talked about previously adding a little sort of culvert bridge and then going this way with a small stream or water feature. I still might do that. Um, I still might do that. I'm not, you know, diametrically opposed to it. Um, it's just sort of a question of should I, and elsewise, what should be in this space? It's a pretty big space. I think if I add a water feature, having a park that's, here taking up a reasonably large portion of the space makes sense. Oh, right, those are two different buildings. Thank you, Stellar. Stellar says have fun. We try. Sorry. I think I'm going to mark this out. I'm not sure how I'm going to do the terrain exactly, but I'll mark that out as some kind of river or something. Now, notably, this is sort of a main road, right? This is... They both have their merits. But this doesn't really go anywhere. This is sort of like a edge of town cut through sort of deal. And I'm thinking that I should actually sever this here. Oops. Because if we're going to have our water feature, then it might make sense to have a break in the road here, because they wouldn't necessarily want to build 3 bridges right up next to one another. So we have that. And I don't intend for it to be dead straight, but it's going to be in this vicinity. We aren't really pushing forward the storm front of work, though. So I need to figure out a couple of other minor industries and what they do. And maybe move some buildings around for them. This guy... Oops. I would like to maybe remove some of the random buildings, or at least move them to a place where I might end up needing them. For example, right here. This is maybe the last mill complex that we have to design. We could throw in a couple of other buildings adjacent this one. We could also just make it a parking lot. One of either or works, right? We have something like this, which part of me wants to just take this and put it here and adjoin this building. Which this has sort of become Kitbash Central, and I'm not opposed to that. That building is 95 degrees. This building is going to be something ending in a 5. There we go. And now I want to slide it over to the left slightly. Maybe that was more than slightly. Are these windows or doors? I cannot tell. It looks like there's supposed to be some kind of loading bay there. And I can't make it out. It looks like... Oh, the building is floating. No? It looks like the building's floating. Yes, the building was floating. Okay. That's fine. Now it's better. We have some other stuff. We have this 1-story warehouse building. We have this, which we actually already used. I'm not sure I want to double up on this building, but we could, there are definitely ways where we could kit bash it to make it look less bad. We have this building, which is a pretty nice looking one. We have this. Oh, we have another row house that I accidentally put down over here. And this building. Yeah, we still haven't. I mean, these are big yards for this, basically. Um, I could always scoot all these buildings back a little bit, but I think that would be much more trouble than it's worth. We have this. We have, oh, we have a little conveyor belt here. I don't have a use for that conveyor belt. Maybe I could throw it. Oh, I was way ahead of myself. I already put this here. How perfect is that? Hello, Mew. Evening, I forgot that it was Thursday. It's okay, I make that mistake all the time. I was very much hoping today was Friday until I realized. But, on the flip, get to do this. So, let's take this, and we'll put this here, I guess? This is a very nondescript building. Yeah, let's put this back here. And we will just... We maybe won't do boxcars to this place because of the still 3 days left. Oh yeah, I mean, looking forward to that. Going to Maine, going to see some 2-foot, going to do, what the people want. Yeah, and so that's parallel to the rail line. That's fine by me. There are some buildings over here that I've been considering, like, for example, this one, which this just reminds me of railroader stuff. I mean, look at the way this building is textured and how it's cut out. This is a railroader building. Not exactly very pretty. The door is not touching the wall that it's on, so that's not ideal. So we'll move that out of the way. Maybe we can cover that with something. We have some grandstands and things like that, and then this, which this isn't going to stay here. I'm almost certain about that. And then we have Blaise, which I've been watching too much Ghost. Yeah, Sylvia paperboard moment. Yeah, exactly. I've been watching too much Ghostbusters stuff because I glanced at that and then for some reason I thought it said Spengler. I mean, there's really no excuse for that. I've just been watching way too much Ghostbusters adjacent content. We have the Ace distributor, which I think is just too big for this town. I don't think I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna use that. And this hospital, I'm probably not gonna use. So I'll use that one. We will have a hospital at that end of town. I've talked about using these buildings all mushed in together to make sort of a munitions place. Because the tall part looks sort of like a shot tower to my untrained eye. And yeah, I mean, this is a very good looking piece of building. It's just how do we take this and turn it into something that we can actually use? And can I grab all three of these? I'll jump into Surveyor 2 to make my life easier. Just getting more of these buildings set up, I feel like, is important. And the unfortunate thing is, once I get them all, all set up, they're all set up, right? I don't need to do more. I don't need to keep adding industries. I'm just going to put these over here. So maybe we don't focus on this right now and do some other things. This is a nice bridge, but we're not going to really need to use it, I don't think. I know we talked about the schools. We talked about using this as a sort of radio station building, which I know of something up in like Smithfield area, Rhode Island, or Foster Gloucester area, which looks almost exactly like this radio tower and all. And then we have a lot more sets of row houses to do, which get excited about that. More RNG. And then this whole area here, I don't really know what to do with. And genuinely, I'm not entirely sure what to do with that. part of me wants to throw down, I mean, some sort of larger building. I do not know what. Um, maybe like a, I mean, like a strip mall style building would make sense. I could see that being here. Um, no, not the continuous strip mill. Light strip, large strip mall sign, JR Strip Mall. Okay. Hello, baby. Hello, Gloria. I only use your legal name because it says so on your on the thing. This is our strip mall. I mean, I guess I could throw this. So I just never get to say your full name. I guess I could throw this over here because I know I wanted to put a strip mall over here. Um, you are still my baby. Um, but putting some low density commercial over at this end, you know, off the highway, just seems kind of right to me. Um, put this here. I wish I had more strip mall stuff, honestly. I don't have a ton, and we need a carve out in this road here for trucks to get over to the thing. So that means we need the one sidewalk version, and we'll make it actually fairly lengthy, I think. Cement trucks and all that. Cement trucks aren't particularly large, but, you know, assuming that this is going to serve whatever this is in here, um, as well as the cement trucks, and then we might have a sort of empty area here. There we go. Did you hear about my K&L success? Asks Bryson. And I believe I did. You asked Lero about getting it on the projects list. I know that K&L has a very, very long projects list, and they can sometimes charge an arm and a leg. So just being able to get it on there in the first place is a bit of an accomplishment. So at least it's something that won't take K&L a year, right? Or more. Hopefully it'll be done while you're still alive. You got your number 5 on there. Now, speaking of Colombians, we have, which is a 242 for the record, we have a Colombian upcoming in the trading card pack, and it has been just a real pain in the neck to get that sorted out. We are missing, it is Arcada and Mad River, locomotive number 6. It is a very, very unusual gauge. It's like 3 foot 9 1/4 inches. Something I've never seen before. And it was a wood burner, and I believe it was, I've been told, it was later commissioned to oil. But we don't have the tender capacity for either. Now, the thing with wood is, because the measurement for wood is a volume, like chords are a measure of volume. If you can get the volume of the bunker, you can accurately calculate your fuel capacity. A chord is like 8 feet by 4 feet by 4 feet, something like that, officially speaking. And if you can get a diagram of the tender, which I believe is, sorry, Baldwin tender diagram. Sorry, I just really got a frog in my throat for a second. Baldwin tender diagram 269, I think. If you know anyone who knows anyone who has Baldwin tender diagrams, that would be really helpful. This goes out to the whole audience. Anyone who... So, My job is to figure out which route we're doing it for, which Ellis is why I'm here. Okay. Why are you here? I can provide you my advice, but I don't know the first thing about Crab Orchard in Egyptian number 5. I believe it's Crab Orchard in Egypt. It was Crab Orchard in Egyptian at some point in life, right? I'm not just making that up. It was number 5 for its whole life, wasn't it? Did it ever get a different number? Was it a different number before preservation? Do I do Crab Orchard in Egyptian or Slims? Yeah, that's my question. Was it 5 in both? Because that does complicate things a little bit because it's, well known as 5 or more well known as 5. So, it's a good question. Now, St. Louis Iron Mountain and Southern Slims it's an Illinois terminal engine as well? Oh, interesting. St. Louis Iron Mountain and Southern was a predecessor to the Mopac, right? And that means something. That changes the calculus a little bit, I feel like, because I take it you've never called it Mopac number 5. So if this locomotive was never Mopac and just Slims, and it was out of there before Missouri Pacific, then I see less of an argument for going with that initial road because it was, very clearly Slims. Or it was very clearly Slims and not Mopac, but people think Slim. People think Mopac when they think Slims. Oh, it was never Slims. Okay, then why St. Louis Iron Mountain and Southern? Well, not that then. Isn't there a set of density for bituminous and coal, so you get the tender bulk volume? The thing with coal is, it's not, the density depends greatly, or can depend greatly, on the kind of coal. If you have really, not even kind as in bituminous versus anthracite, but just how good your coal is. The preservation line it's on is the St. Louis Iron Mountain and Southern. Okay, well, I would probably go with either Crab Orchard and Egyptian or Illinois Terminal. Yeah, no, by that I mean, and I know, Mew, you've probably seen this when we've been places, when we've gone places, but, sometimes coal can have a lot more, like, chaff in it. It can have a lot more, just, like, dirt, coal dirt, and dust that fills in all that empty space, and that changes your density dramatically. If you have really good coal, you might have a lower density, because coal is actually not very dense, than your, you might have a lower density than the alternative, than your sort of shoddy coal. Like, I know Matt has looked into doing that conversion before, trying to figure out your coal capacity in tons when we have just a set of dimensions for the tender. Sunni is around the same length as Slims, but a bit more complicated, not a straight line. If that's I would say I might go with Crab Orchard and Egyptian. It seems like the more famous one. And the more unique one, certainly. So we're going to swap this with this. And 50-50 if it's the right side, it's the wrong side. Okay. Let's do that. Wasn't it a tank engine's entire life at Illinois Terminal? I have no idea what's going on, but yes, probably. Welcome, Scoots. Good to see you again. I need to jump back to this. We're talking about a locomotive that Bryson has a affinity for. and is going to get done up by a fairly well-known modeler, or team of modelers, perhaps. Anyway, I didn't call it a phase. I said you have an affinity for it. Okay. But the more you say it's a phase, the more I think it is, so, you know, just keep saying that. Okay. Sensitivity down, radius up. Can I please raise this slightly? Quentin saw it the other day. That's cool. I thought you were a great distance from number 5. Okay. Let's try to... The issue is... Number 1, this is not flat. And... Oh, sorry. Mopac said he went and saw 85. Or saw number 5. 85. Yeah. Sorry. Was confused. Okay, we need to make some curb cuts here. We also need to get this intersection a little better looking with curvature. Next time I get a holiday, I'm probably taking it to ride the Trans-Siberian. That's very cool. That's on my bucket list, you know? Doing the Trans-Siberian Railroad is yeah. I mean, that's got to be on a foamer's bucket list, on a rail fan's bucket list. It's such a cool thing. Alright, grab you. I think I want this to go to there. This to go to there. I need to straighten this out. Which, hopefully that doesn't screw with this too much. The way the crossing is. I'm already sort of budgeting for that to be a wreck. My proper home is in Vladivostok, and I'm heading back courtesy of Hungarian immigration laws getting dumb. That's kind of funny. The far eastern terminus of the Trans-Siberian. Yeah. The Trans-Siberian Railroad is a pretty storied thing. I am not surprised how many people around the world are generally aware of it. Oh shoot, hold on. No, this, yes, this is already like that. Also, yeah, I was about to say, also the Trans-Siberian Orchestra is a thing, and that also, like, puts respect on the name. It's 6 and a bit day ride to Moscow and or back. Cool. That's a long way, you know. I mean, it's an immense country, right? It's one of the longer train rides that I know of. I don't know if there is a longer one off the top of my head. Certainly not a single segment train ride. Because, I mean, gosh, how long is the... They don't do roumettes, so it'll be funny. Yeah. How long is the train ride across the Trans-Siberian in terms of mileage? Also, can't remove an end vertex. Don't want to remove it. Want to remove the gradient. Yeah, it was a chunky tank engine and crowd. Yeah, so if you're getting it done up as not a tank engine, you're gonna want to get it done. You're gonna want to get it done up in Crab Orchard and Egyptian Railroad. I think that's just what makes sense to me. Yeah, okay, 5,772 miles. That's like awesome in the biblical sense, right? That is a really, really long way to go. Can you make a connection and go to Pyongyang? I'm sure. Why would you do that? Like, even if you could, make a spur to Alaska. Yeah. I mean, okay, sensitivity up. Let's get this edge done. Let's do, yeah, let me just make sure I can uncover the whole, has tracks running in North Korea. You get tourists from the DPRK. That's gotta be interesting. It's interesting, you know, people don't usually think about anyone ever being able to leave or go into North Korea. But I know of plenty of people that have, I don't know any, but I know of plenty of people that have visited North Korea, and it's, by all accounts, a completely surreal experience. Um, but I feel like no one ever talks about the people that can leave North Korea and visit other places and then come back. I mean, they have to all be members of, like, the North Korean royal family or whatever that is. Um, uh, because otherwise, I mean, why would you want to go back, right? Um, so that's just my thoughts. Um, the tourists from Korea, from North Korea, it has to be either like people that are very well cared for there, or like, yeah, go on vacation, and if you don't come back, we're shooting your family. Plenty of migratory workers who work in Vladivostok. That's okay, interesting. Taking the train to North Korea to finish what the CB started. You're gonna go steal a whole bunch of booze and locomotives. Um, but yeah, that is interesting. I mean, it's not like North Korea is just full of people sitting in squalor and doing nothing. Like, people have jobs. They do work. They do productive things for their nation. It's just not a, yeah, how much goes to the family as opposed to the state is a good question. I want to circle back to Bryson for just a second. Yes, I have seen the photo. I think you posted it like 6 times at this point. I've seen it every time. Just make it your profile picture and get it over with. Um, so this reminds me of the movie The Interview. I don't know if I ever saw that one. You know what I did see though? I saw oh shoot, what was the movie? It was a comedy. It's a weird one for me to have seen in theaters. I saw The Proposal, which I don't know what about. I guess I must have just been going through a phase of like enjoying um like these really basic comedies, and I don't remember a single thing about that movie. Um if you love that thing so much, why don't you marry it? Um yeah. It's not a phase. Oh, we've come back to it's not a phase. Okay, I'm gonna put the wreck of a road here, what would have been a road, where the road went, right? And I think I'm actually going to, let me sink it into the ground a little bit. Also, hello, Mason. Um, I'm going to cover this in grass. And maybe if I could make it look like the Centralia highways, then I would, but alas. Also, you can see how deep the macadam goes. Okay. Some funny stuff. You can take a bus from Vladivostok to China. That's neat. Does the bus connect with the high-speed rail? I know China has extraordinarily thoroughly built out high-speed rail. I saw a discussion about it the other day, about whether it's overbuilt or not, and something that I hadn't considered that got brought up in the discussion was the fact that even where the routes are not necessarily directly competitive with air travel in terms of time, um, there have been carriers like airfare, airplane companies, right? Uh, Carriers that sort of spring up and then continually go out of business because the airline industry is not as propped up in China as it is in the US. So you don't really have these really cheesy carriers, or these really cheap carriers uh, that are able to stick around doing the really basic stuff because they don't, or the out there stuff because they don't have like they just don't make enough revenue. There's no way for them to turn over enough revenue to continue to exist. So the high speed rail is there as an alternative, so that the government in so that the Chinese government doesn't have to worry about doing airline subsidies as much. Makes sense. We're gonna need more chain link fences around here. There's a rail border crossing at. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if it's cargo only or lets passengers in through. It's a major cargo terminal. Gotcha. Okay. Is that a break of gauge? Or I feel like I should know this. Does China use the same freight rail gauge as Russia? Or is there a break of gauge there? I need a fence, right? Fence. Let's actually use the search filter and find a chain link fence. Like, I know that, as an American, I'm completely spoiled by this because there are virtually no breaks of gauge left in the United States. In terms of, uh, major railroads, there are effectively none, right? We have standard gauge. Okay, China is 1435. I think that's off the top of my head. Yeah, so it is a break gauge. Off the top of my head, the only one I can think of other than really shenanigan or stuff with like Pennsylvania trolley gauge for certain things. I think the only one that I can think of is in Alamosa. The last one in Denver, right? But that's not a break of gauge. It's just a tiny piece of dual gauge track, which I remember visiting that, I think. Matt tunes into Pennsylvania trolley gauge. Yeah, no, I'm just talking about breaks of gauge in the United States, which in North America there are basically none. The entirety of the North American rail network is standard gauge as far as common carriers go. The only thing I can think of where you have a functional non-standard gauge line, which I think is that 1435 millimeters. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Is with the Cumbres and Toltec Scenic Railroad in Alamosa, Colorado, where it goes from standard gauge to 3-foot gauge, so 1435 down to 1,000-ish. I know 3 foot and a meter are not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. There's probably an industrial railroad somewhere. That's a good point. The Newfie Railroad, I don't know if they interchange directly. They might have, but they also might have just been done through car floats. That's a really good question. You'd have to look at a map of the Newfie. Or ask Brian. Brian probably knows. And at any rate, if anyone knows on the Horseman, it's Brian. I'd assume there's no reason to switch to 1435 for Russia, because you'd only do that if you can to let trains connect seamlessly with Europe, and why would they? Yeah, I mean, they definitely don't want anything to do with the rest of Europe, in a manner of speaking. Okay, so the question is, do I curve this fence around here and then so I'm not going to block the track with fence, because if there's one thing that I don't like, if there's one thing that I don't like, I was thinking of Antonito. I said Alamosa, huh? Yeah, I was thinking of Antonito. Thank you for reminding me. It's been a while since I've studied my Cumbres and Toltec. Yeah. So, in Antonito, is that the Alamosa branch? I know it's the San Luis was the San Luis and Rio Grande, back before the death of Iowa Pacific Holdings. So yeah, there's that. But again, my knowledge of the railroad industry is a mile wide and an inch deep, and it always has been, and it always will be. I can only imagine, especially again with to bring up the trading cards for the second time, buy trading cards. The the whole thing is, like, I have learned a little about so much, and we started off by talking about weird gauges, right? That 3 foot 9.5 or 9.25 inch um, gauge that is on the, or was on the Arcata and Mad River. Again, don't know how to pronounce that. Um, we no longer have a local air hub, and it's a pain in the keister to fly. Oh, Aeroflot bought it out, and then they closed it, I assume. Because now if it's a pain. Um, 36 freight gauge freight railroad in California. Where the hell is that? Where is that? And I mean, that one then is, that one qualifies a lot more than the Cumbres and Toltec, because the Cumbres and Toltec is not moving freight. Um, Plaster City, of course it's Plaster City. That should have jumped right to mind. And you know what, Matt? When you said 3 foot gauge short line, I'm thinking back for just a second and realizing the image that popped into my head was Plaster City. Welcome, TDW Railroad, to the party. Because yeah, that does exist. That is there. They have 3 foot gauge Alcos, if I remember right. Completely, just like fascinating little operation. Student will fly out to the U.S. through Seoul or Tokyo, courtesy of Vladivostok. Or Vladavi. I can't see the end of that word because it's clipped off my screen. That's my bad. 8 hours to Moscow and fly there from Europe across the East Coast. Mason's saying, yo, what? Do you mean, are you yo whatting at the Plaster City? Because you should be. It's very cool. Okay, so we've got that fenced in. I don't know what I'm going to do in this area, but we've got it fenced in at least. They have some former White Pass stuff, if I remember right. Or even if it's not former White Pass, yeah, it's 3 foot still in service. Even if it's not former White Pass, it is it's identical to the stuff that is former White Pass. Like, they're cut from the same cloth, part of the same, standard order or whatever. They're really, really cool. They're really, really cool. Like, check them out, look them up. I'd love to visit them someday. It's one of those things where I feel like I'm going to say that, and then they're going to cease to exist, and I'm never going to be able to visit them. Like, the reason why I don't think they're going anywhere soon is they produce, like, a really large fraction of the world's gypsum board. Like, if you're getting drywall, it's come from there. There's reasonably good odds, if I remember right. Oh, it never went to Alaska. The railroad went die. Okay, so yeah. So it's technically ex-White Pass, but it never served on the White Pass. Gotcha. Yeah, that's an important distinction. There are a bunch of locomotives like that. Stuff that we've made trading cards of included. But other things like, for those who know the Iron Horseman Chronicles very well, will remember mention of a 2-footer named Madrid. Madrid was a 260, later 262, that was built for the Laurel River and Hot Springs Railroad in, I believe, North Carolina. Never got shipped out, never got paid for, bounced around from a couple different owners, and ended up in service on the SR and RL. It's an interesting story. Matt, no. No. We have more 113. Is there a photo? Is it going to go in the chat? It should go in the chat. It should go in the thread of 113 pics. I'm not using Donner stuff. I don't trust it. Let's put this back here. And then over here. So, yeah, of course, we found another 113 thanks to the Plaster City. It's also pretty close to the east end of the Impossible Railroad, if I remember right. I don't think it connects... Maybe it connects directly. Or once did. But it's very close if not. What was the... Oh, God damn it. Mason, what's the joke that Casey keeps saying? I'd rather Mount Bethel. Yeah. That. Okay, let's do this. And this. I'll just put a big dirt lot here. But modeling the CO&E in the 1970s, would it still be relatively overgrown? That's a question for you. I don't know. See if you can find some pictures of it in the 70s and see if it's overgrown or not. Depends. You know, it depends on a lot of factors. I can't guess that. 113 was in an accident. Well, that's what it deserves. Let's grab a substation here. Substation fence, okay. We have an electrical plant substation building here, which I talked about grassing this area in, but I don't think that's going to happen. Electrical substation building. Can I just get like a whole one that I can drop down here instead of trying to build one from... This has a fence around it? Okay. It's a nearly invisible fence. I genuinely cannot see where it is. I know it's like right over here. And I want to scoot this back to here. Okay. This is going to be sort of... Ah, shoot. I love administration buildings. Can I grab that? Yes. Okay, cool. And this is going to be some sort of substation. I mean, it's a substation building, but I also want it to function as an administration building. Is there a door on the back? Yes, there is. Okay, so let's put this... here. Back up against that. And I think I've done okay with the way that's lined up. And then I actually want to move this into here. Now the other thing is we need to then send this power somewhere. And I have it pointing out this way, which is not very helpful. So I might have it just come out here, cross over here, and then sort of go that way. Yeah, this looks a little bit better now. Having ancillary buildings on the side of stuff makes it look so much better, right? Just random buildings. Even like this. Like this, on the side of the... On the side of this. I mean, this could be a substation, it could be a control shack for, like, the auger or whatever. It could be a lot of things. But we know that... All we know is that he's called the Stig. And we have that, and I feel like we could use a relatively small office building to fill this space in. Something to do with the power station or adjacent, because, I mean, yeah, this does have, like, some kind of, you know, these outbuildings, which you'd have the furnaces, and then you'd have the turbine hall, and then you'd have, you know, sort of your transformers, which I assume your turbines are in here. Just based on the arrangement of the windows, right? Bryson, you can send pictures. I'm just probably not going to be able to look at them. I don't want to distract myself too much. Especially considering that I already do kind of feel out of sorts today, and I don't expect very much in the way of productivity. I might not make it all the way through. It's already 8 o'clock, but like I mentioned at the top of the show, I would not be surprised if I have to throw in the towel at some point, and just go and eat, or go and pick up Gloria, or we'll probably eat and then pick up Gloria, because TJ's cooking right now, and God, it smells delicious, and I've had like nothing to eat all day. Gloria is getting out of work at 9:30, so, or no. Baby, if you're still there, please let me know if you're getting out at 9 or 9:30. I don't remember. Yeah, just let him cook. I did say I would do some intersections, and this has got to be intersections. I'll probably use macadam up till the end of the road here before it reaches, yeah, so right there. And we'll scoot this back. It's probably 9:30 a few moments later. It was not 9:30. Yeah. Well, that's, thankfully Gloria is not that far away. Gloria works at a store at the bottom of the hill, basically. It's less than a 5-minute walk if you don't lollygag. But it is raining. So it is raining, and it's going to be 9:30 p.m. and it's going to be very dark and sad. And while I have a reasonable amount of trust in my city, in my fair city of Providence, it, like, I don't necessarily need to trust it that much, and Gloria doesn't either. So, come to Providence. It's a sunny place for shady people. I'm included. Alright, let's do this. Let's do that. Okay, we have another intersection, and this is going to be a major intersection. If I end up throwing down any traffic signals, this is probably going to be one of them. I am not sure if I'm going to bother with that, but we will see. You're the least shady person out there. I don't know. I'm just some guy you met on the internet, remember? Let's lower this slightly. Okay, at least keep the whole intersection flat. That'll help. Oh, no. No, I was happy with where the ground was. I shouldn't have done that. Okay. You're the least shady person there. Oh, okay, wait, no, sorry. I'm misreading. I'm the least shady person there. I mean, yeah. Unless you're in it for the long con, I met you 5 times in person. I'm damn impressed with your acting skills. Hey, thanks for the compliment. Now get in the van. Okay, so this is going to be a closed street, right? I mentioned the fact that this has been severed down here. There's not much of a reason to keep it together down here, and we will we'll put this road back together here. Now, if we're going to do some high voltage power lines, which I would like to, zappy zappy, high voltage. These are, tell me we have like an older style. No. SAP high voltage. No. BDW wires spline 20. No. Okay, so here's the thing. I can't find anything to match this. Does anyone know if there's a spline that matches this? Or potentially what... Okay, not that. Power line... Oh, shoot. Okay, we've got that. Okay, all the BDW stuff. Holy cow. Some of these are huge. Okay, can I... Oh, this one. That's close enough. We can do that one, or we can do... No, not that one. I'm missing number 5? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Hold on. Let me jump on the download station for a second. BDW power line. What happened to number 5? Why don't I have number 5? Number 5 looks right. It looks really close. I'm going to download it. Hopefully we don't crash the game. Hold on. Let me save first. It looked way better than this one. I'll tell you that much. Okay. Save the game quick. And it's never quick because the map is huge. It's not actually that huge, but it's huge enough, right? We're also missing the wires for number 4. I guess number 4 doesn't come with its own wires because it's not showing up at the download station. But whatever. Let's download BDW Power Line 5. And there it is. Okay. Okay, so it's grown up, right? It's gotten larger, but it's pretty close. We will use it. We will use it. How far can I stretch this? Okay. Can I make it taller? I can. Okay. So bring this to the edge of the road here. And, yeah, the dude she tells you not to worry about. Okay. Part of me wants to connect the wires here. Why do I want to do this? Why do I... Wait, what is this? No. Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to run the wires down? Hold on. It doesn't touch, is the problem. I would have to do them as individual wires. Am I going to do that? Maybe. I think I know where the wire spline is, where I can grab one. Oh, this is a bad idea. Yeah, I'm putting up the dang wires. I'll have to use this spline. I'll be damned if that is not invisible half the time. Okay. Okay. Well, let me get back to it. I hate... Why am I doing this? I better not ever move this, right? Here to approximately here. Here to approximately... Here? No. Incompatible. Damn. I was really hoping I could make my life slightly easier. And here to approximately here. And then we're going to need to put them in the right spots. Okay. Up. I really wish they were just the right height. Okay, I can barely see it. I don't know if you guys can even see it on stream, because I have slightly more visibility than you. Although that was pretty damn close for a guess. There's the first one. And lined up-ish. Lined up as close as I'm going to get it, because I cannot be bothered to do more than this. Who's going to look at this? On top of the fact that this trolley wire is much too small for what we need it for, and that's why it's tough to see. Yeah, you. Okay. Maybe you should put up the dang wires then. Okay. Oh my god. I'm extraordinarily regarded. I'm highly regarded. Okay. Yes, baby. Are you gonna admonish me for being mean to myself? Ain't we all? Bad wire alignment, negative 10 points. Yeah. Are you out at 9 or 9:30, baby? Because yesterday I thought it was 9:30 and I was wrong. Okay, let's get this across the river and the hell out of here. You said yes. Wait. 9. Okay. Okay. Good to know. I am going to come get you. I thought the plan was... You asked me to come get you. I'm coming to get you because it's raining. I do also love you, but I'm coming to get you because it's raining. Okay. Or at least it was raining last time I checked. Okay, so there. And then we're going to hook to the right. And then we're just going to go in this direction. Both of these need to be completely straightened. Come on. Ah, shoot. No, they don't. They need to be... I thought you were doing... thing you couldn't come get me. Well, here's the thing. I'm very tired. And I'm probably not going to make it through this whole thing. And TJ is cooking, and I'm also quite hungry. So I might end up giving up early so that I have time to go get you. So much that he won't let rain touch you. Yeah. There's a joke I could make here, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I have enough restraint that I will not make the joke on stream. I'll make it later. Probably. Maybe. Maybe I'll make it during the community playdate if anyone remembers this interaction. Okay, so we want to swap this road out with the regular road, or the asphalt road, which is, well, I want the one with the 2 sidewalks, so let's go down here. And I know I talked about designing a new factory complex, and now I'm doing everything but that's okay, because what that means is I'm not designing a new factory complex. Replace with selected asset, and then I want to add a spline point on this side of the road. Insert spline point here, and then I'm going to replace this with this. Replace spline with selected asset, and then I'm going to... Nope, not that. I'm going to bring this as close to this as I can. There we go. And now also, I will probably bring this down a little bit. Even though ELO asked me not to bring them down, I will be doing that in this case. Okay. So now we have our crossing, our power lines. Yeah, we're looking good. We're doing good. I also do need power lines to carry off in this direction. I don't really know how that all works. One of the things I didn't figure out was... one of the things I did not figure out was, like, the map of electricity generation in Tolbrand. Which, if I was doing it now with, you know, if I knew then when I knew now, I might do it, right? I might go through and figure out, here's where the power stations are, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, it's not necessarily going to be universal. Especially with stuff like this, because this power station is, you know, supplying power for Bellington and South Bellington at least, and probably some other things, but it might not necessarily be a full power grid on Tolbrand yet. It just depends how up to speed they are. Factories are giant windowless buildings where souls are crushed, in my experience. Alright, I'll see you later, baby. Well, see, that's because your factories are lame and uncool. Cool factories have lots of windows because they're cool. For example, my cannery down here, or whatever this is going to be. Look at all those windows. Everything's got windows, except for this building, the windows kind of suck. You know what I need a model of? Some people will know the answer to this question, because I'm going on a tangent about needing windows. and big ugly mill buildings. I need a model of the central warehouse. I need to drop that in somewhere. I need a model of the central warehouse. I, oh, that was Mason. That was Mopac that said that, not Mason. I don't work there. I just changed all the air filters in one. Um, I I need. We have monkey bananas. I need the the Albany Central Warehouse. I need that catastrophic piece of thing. Okay, let's put the wooden JR crossing here. Let's see if I can pull it out at all. Okay, to there without it getting in the way. And then there. Okay. Some of these I'm going to do with the wooden crossing. A lot of these side ones, it's sort of a priority, right? Like the best ones obviously have the wooden crossing, and then as you go down, you run into less and less stuff with the crossing boards and um, more stuff that is the pavement like this, you know, which this is just because no crossing boards on the main road. Not like a city ordinance or anything, it just didn't look right to me. Now, this looks a little weird because the road is floating. That's why it looks weird. Can I fix that without making everything else worse? Yay! Okay, I actually wasn't convinced that was going to work. You never know with these sometimes. Monkey banana distribution. Oh god, you people. Okay. We have our stone bridge. I need to finish this area here. Can we move up the storm front at all? We could probably get some more trees in here and finish that out. And then start to fill in this area here, which, like I have sort of started picking out, I was thinking about putting a hospital there or something. This divot is not great. So let's fill that in. And then I kind of want to raise the terrain over here by just a little bit. And then smooth that out. Like, I want to see some very vague terrain rise in the distance. No, the idea is not an insane asylum. Just a regular hospital. I won't lie, I had the St. Mary's Seminary on the mind when I decided I wanted a hospital there. I won't lie that there was some thought process to it, right? I was thinking about that rail served, and this isn't going to be rail served, but I still have a bunch of files on my work laptop from when we were investigating that place, just sort of figuring out its history. Yo, it's Chris says less hospital, more beer distribution. Have you seen the Railroader news? Maybe. I don't know. I have been super busy with jury duty and everything. This has actually been a great opportunity for me to not think about anything that isn't foamy. So, yeah. Railsurf Seminary, base priests. Yeah. I think it was a seminary. It was, a mental hospital, and it was, you know. St. Mary's, and maybe I'm getting the St. Mary's Hospital confused with the actual St. Mary's Seminary. But whatever it was, the big hospital. I haven't heard about the new Railroader news, and I would love to hear about the new Railroader news. Let me just make sure this is all... I need to do a little bit of height bumping. I need to make sure this is all higher than that. Yeah, it is. Okay. And I think it's actually going to wind its way over here. So, oh, no. Oh, that's the news? Yes, I did see that. I mean, I was pinged, so I eventually saw it. I didn't see it right when people were talking about it, but yeah, I know seminaries where people who want to become priests go to become priests. Yes, I know, but there are sometimes they serve other functions, I believe. Um, but no, you're right. That is what a seminary is, and I was probably more than a little confused. There was also St. Joseph's Seminary, which was uh, in Troy, New York. Some of you might recognize it as um, the university building, which is something that I built in an old Minecraft world. Um, did you do you heard of I-032 collided with that other train in Folkestone, Georgia? Yes, I believe we talked about it on the Terminus this past weekend. I believe that episode is out. If it hasn't come out, then oops, it should. Um, but yeah, no, I did hear plenty about that. It was all over the news channel in the Discord. Uh, I'm gonna try to smooth this valley out and make it not terrible. Um, the train's passing around. Well, I'm glad they didn't collide at your house. Um, I have a question about the podcast. What is your question, comrade? Okay, let's do this. Um, I want a higher radius and lower sensitivity. I was the one that gave everyone heads up. Yes, you were. So I absolutely heard about it. And I appreciate you breaking that news. And what's funny is we did end up reporting on it not long after you broke the news, despite the conversation regarding the fact that we very, very rarely get the opportunity to do that. It was a really neat circumstance. It's like, yes, this just happened, and now we're talking about it. Um, okay, so this feels like, with the topography we're looking at, this feels a lot like the river near my house, and I've been trying to capture this because it's very interesting and difficult in terms of topography. Let's say I'm in contact with a restaurant group who doesn't post much news online. I could I use text message screenshots from convos with them for 5 updates? No. And the reason I can't allow that is because I need to have something to link on the document for the podcast so that the other co-hosts can see it easily and so that the audience can see it easily. And linking an image on Discord is not always reliable. So that's my problem. It's not a personal hang-up. It's not a sourcing thing, even. It is that I have nothing to link to. Um, if you made, if you made some sort of like Facebook fan page and then put the conversations up there, then that's a thing that could happen. Like, that's not necessarily a good recommendation. It's just the first thing that comes to mind. But I need to be able to link to something. I need to be able to link to some kind of website or web page. What if I put a picture in the doc? That's not reliable. No. Uh, I'm myself and the other co-hosts are the only people that can be editing the doc at a given time, so I can't put things in there. I can't like put individual photos in there as I'm going through. One, they take up way too much space, and B, then that involves moving files around, which just doesn't help. I have talked about trying to solve that problem before, but it's, relatively speaking, a minor problem. Uh, I would encourage you to, if if you find their social media presence lacking, see if you can volunteer to be a sort of social media manager for them. Usually these things don't have a huge social media presence because it's an extra time and sometimes it can be an extra expense that a small group really isn't able to do. Like, for example, the Providence Northern Model Railroad Club does not have much of a social media presence. Like, we have a website, and I believe we have a Facebook page, uh, but it is not something that gets a lot of updates or news or anything like that. At the very least, when there is something up there... Hi, Lafayette. What are you doing? When there is something up there, then that can be linked. But a text conversation about it is not, you know, because of the fact that it can't be linked, and also because of the fact that it's not really an announcement per se. If there is news, like if you were to get on the podcast and you wanted to talk about this, for example, then you can absolutely discuss it and share the photos and everything in local service, but it's not going to get filed in with the news because it's not something that, you know, exists in a news format, really. Okay, so I have my river here, and I kind of want to go up with it a little bit, but I'm not entirely sure. Hi, Lafayette. Well, go lay down. Go up. That's what the problem is. But yeah, I mean, people are welcome to bring stuff that they personally are involved in or interested in, or have, you know, sort of the closer to the chest information, if and when they are on the podcast in local service. I've always sort of pointed to the fact that we have a podcast that is sort of a by the people, for the people, you know? It is, we bring on just anyone from the community instead of looking for, you know, major celebrities. That also would explain why we are not very popular, but again, that was never the goal. I don't have any water left. I think I'm going to make it another 30 minutes and then I'll give up. But we've got this. We'll have to put a culvert in for this. And I want to put a pretty good sized park here, I think. Gonna get high sun, yeah. I mean, honestly, that would not be the hardest thing in the world, but it's just, this is, you know, it's a by the people, for the people sort of thing. If he ever wanted to be on, that's the thing. It's like, this is the line that I've walked since the very beginning of the Terminus podcast. We've always sort of wanted to see if we could invite people onto the show, and other shows, you know, you can see that people, you know, if you ask someone, right? If you ask someone, hey, will you be on my podcast? A lot of the time they'll just say yes. It doesn't matter how important you are. It doesn't matter how impactful you are. It just matters that, like, let's be frank, people like to discuss the things that they're interested and involved in. If you call up Ed, you know, if you shoot an email to Ed Dickens and you're like, hey, do you have time to be on a podcast about the restoration of 4014? There's a non-zero chance that he says yes for the love of the game, right? He wants to be on the show because he wants to talk about the restoration of 4014. But we've never played that game. We've never done the, hey, you know, such and such important famous person, would you like to be on the Terminus podcast? And the reason being is that, you know, aside from some areas in the very beginning where we were sort of thinking ahead, it's always been okay, you know, the question goes out to everyone. Everyone is treated exactly the same. It doesn't matter if you are Heiss or Ed Dickens or Mew the Enigma. You have just as much chance of getting that question right as everyone else with the same amount of knowledge as you. And yeah, Shortline has a half-decent following, and I always appreciate that sort of collab. I hop into his streams. He's been on the podcast before. He's actually great on the podcast because he is so very knowledgeable. but it's just it's the same old, right? Unless you're a horseman and that you're already part of like the roster of co-hosts, um, which is it's not something that is given out for. It's not something that's given out because we think you'd be good on the podcast, right? People don't get promoted because they were good on the podcast. People get promoted because the rest of the horsemen really like them and they want them to be part of the horsemen. Um, and there is a reason why why those promotions don't happen very often. They have to be nominated by somebody other than me, number one, and number two, they have to be approved unanimously. Uh, there are all of the promotions above, and by all of them, all two of them, both of the promotions above fan in the server are given by nomination and a unanimous vote. And it's not always unanimous. Sometimes people either have, something like a hang up with a given person, or, one reason or another, they just don't know them well enough. They don't think they would fit particularly well, or, whatever. There's all sorts of reasons. People don't necessarily always give reasons. But the thing is, it has to be unanimous. It has to be something where when somebody gets brought up for brought up for a promotion like that, everyone at least says okay. Everyone at least says like, yeah, this would be a good fit. Um, so the bar is it's high. I feel like it's relatively difficult to get over, right? Um, and I'm kind of okay with that because I don't want to always be figuring out new people and always be sort of shifting around the membership of the server. I don't have a problem with the status quo most of the time, and that's why they're unanimous. That's why they have to be unanimous, because that more often than not, people are pretty okay with the status quo in terms of who has what rank. If people are not okay with the status quo, as in they think people should be demoted, which doesn't really ever happen, but for the sake of example, right? Um, aside from extreme extenuating circumstances, we have not really ever demoted anybody. Um, those who have been around long enough know those circumstances and probably remember them. Um, Not exactly the finest moments of the Iron Horseman Discord. Uh, but at any rate, always report a spam bot when you see one. Always report a rule break-in when you see it. Um, but yeah, it's my sort of thought process has been people aren't upset with the MO, otherwise they would be complaining about it. And if we change, you know, uh, if we change who has what rank, then people could have reasons to be uncomfortable. For example, say uncomfortable. I'll use the word uncomfortable because I feel like that's something that people can sort of sympathize with. Um, uh, and again, people don't necessarily have to disclose their reasons, although they are usually asked, and it's almost always discussed when somebody votes against a promotion. The vast, vast majority of promotions that make it to the table make it through, especially hobo promotions, because there's not a lot to lose, Um, but it's one of those things that you know if it's the choice between keeping a status quo where everyone's kind of okay with it, or changing the status quo to where someone or someone's might not be okay with it, you don't want to go one for one, right? You don't want to go, you don't want to promote someone that you're really excited about and, have them as a horseman or whatever, uh, and then have somebody leave or even just like sort of back away because of it. You know, I don't want to go one for one in terms of promotions. I don't want to be replacing people because they weren't comfortable with the new person. Uh, if it's not okay for everyone, it's not okay, and it doesn't have to be. I'm gonna need to go along the riverbank here and do some stuff. Yeah, most of the hurdle is someone putting their, sticking their neck out and saying, "Hey, I think we should promote this guy." And there are a couple of standout people in the Discord, in the Horseman rank, that are usually the people who put forward these polls. Um, and I don't, as a general rule, not because I'm afraid of sticking my neck out, but because I feel like I have too much sway. And that's also why I generally don't start polls for server changes. You know, the administration in the Discord is a thing. It exists. Uh, all of the Iron Horsemen have access to, all the people with the rank of Horsemen have access to an administration channel where we discuss the goings on occasionally. Usually it's used for planning the podcast and nothing else. Um, but we can follow a procedure to make server changes directly from that channel. And we usually don't. The changes usually get booted to the polls channel, which everyone has access to. And that poll is the most, a poll in the polls channel is the most powerful thing on the server. Because anything that's done at the administrative level needs unanimous consent. Everything that's done by the administration, quote unquote, cannot affect any changes to the server or its hierarchy if there is any dissent at all. So as long as 50% of people, 51% of people in the server agree with a change, it will get passed through a poll. And if I challenge it, because I have that right as the dispatcher, I have a right to challenge a poll that is lawfully passed. It gets kicked to the administration, and then the administration gets to take the vote on whether it passes or not. And he pulls a goal. Yeah, thanks. Exactly. Um, and if there's any dissent in the administration, it goes with the original, you know, the original thing. Everything okay, TJ? Ah, hold on. Where is he? No, not on the couch. No, don't eat it. Oh my. Sorry about that. I apologize. I apologize. I hope we didn't lose everyone. No, we still have a decent amount of viewers. I disappeared. So, what do I mean by original thing? I don't know what I was saying. Point is, are you willing to disclose if someone doesn't get voted in if a certain amount of time has to pass for that person? No. No, it just comes down to if it just comes down to if somebody feels like putting them up again. If they feel like things have changed, you know. It's down to opinion. There's no formal procedure for like determining nominees. I at one point wanted to institute sort of meetings like on a regular schedule, and people were like, "What do we need those for?" I went, "Okay, yeah. I mean, I just wanted a chance for everyone's voice to get heard." But yeah, I mean, it's tough enough to get people together for an emergency meeting, much less a scheduled one, and I don't need more stuff on my schedule anyway. So, yeah, we don't do meetings. There's nothing regimented about the way we operate. And that's just the thing. It's that occasionally, you know, or rather, aside from stuff that is deliberately stated and carved out as responsibilities for the administration in rules and index, there is no other, like, everything, like, the people have the power, right? The people have the power. I've always liked that, and taking that to its logical extreme on the community server has been very fun. It's a shame that I haven't been able to follow through everything as quickly as I would have liked, but it's been fun having a server that is like everyone is a whatchamacallit. Everyone is a peer, everyone is equal. Promote me to dispatcher. Yeah. I mean, you could do that on the other server. You could do that on the community server. Then you'll get a role called dispatcher, which doesn't do anything. Just like Casey. That's the thing. You have to be specific in your polls. A monkey paw, monkey's paw curls. Okay. We've got some stuff on this side of the river now, which is nice. The monkey bananas curls. Okay. I need to look at cement plants, right? I need to figure out what the whole deal is with the sort of way that this is going to be organized and scenic. And I will put this here. I'll get rid of that piece of fence in the middle. We have this, which is going to be for, like, trucks or something, presumably. Move the microphone. Okay. I am liking this town a lot. I am very happy with the way that it's coming out. I know I'm going to get wrapped up in about 10 minutes, so I'm slowing down, which isn't intentional, but it's what's happening. What we need to do is we need to work the scenery downriver to here, so that we can start doing this. Because doing that on its own, I feel like everything's sort of got to be connected. We started to grow out from the diamond here. Like, this was the first place where I started doing scenic work in South Bellington, and we're growing in this direction from here. Now, I did say we could jump in and add some more trees, which I think is smart. Which, if I brush tool, we're going to use scrapbook data. We're going to go over to woods. And we are going to ground height relative, or I should say none, texture, overwrite meshes, none, oh no, sorry, overwrite, splines, none, and effect layers, none, because we're not doing effect layers for this. And I think I can just slowly, yeah, I can change the rotation as I go to this. I actually don't know if changing the rotation really matters with the way this is, because if we look at this, it doesn't seem patterned, right? I see a ping, and I'm wondering what that's coming from. Oh, okay. No. Hold on. No. I'm not. Never mind. I'm not indulging. I was gonna get the Lord of the Rings no GIF response. That's what you gotta do. Okay. We're gonna jump to Surveyor Classic. I'll be honest, I have never heard TJ sound that urgent to Lafayette or like anyone else ever when he was going to yak on the couch, which I should have explained what the heck happened when I had to run off, which was that Lafayette was throwing up on the couch. He seems to be feeling better now after he got that out of his system, but he should probably have something to eat because now he's empty. Poor pupper. I don't know what he ate. He probably ate something earlier. I assumed that he might have been like eating out of the cat box or something. But Lafayette? Lafayette! Come here! Hi, pup. Come here. Come here. It's okay. You're okay. Come here. He doesn't know how to get to me because he's being stupid. Come here. It's okay. Wanted to pick him up. He knows I want to pick him up, which is why he's not coming closer. Lafayette. Yeah, he's gone. Oh well. He's planning to overthrow the power structure of the Discord server. Honestly, that's kind of what I expected to happen on the community server. Maybe not East specifically, but I expected that to happen. I expected somebody to start messing with stuff beyond just making Casey a dictatoress with no further description as to what that means or does. Which I don't know how people didn't see that result coming, because like there was no description of what that means in the poll, and I'm not gonna just guess, right? I'm just gonna leave it, which I did. Okay, this has got to go this way. Oh, my jaw. Wait a minute. Why is the middle one? Oh, never mind. I understand what happened here. Oh no! Wait a minute. I just realized what happened here. I've expected stuff to go down or unfold or what have you. I sort of expected I don't know. I don't know what I expected. I expected some kind of chaos, and there has been a distinct lack of chaos. I'm not asking for chaos, but I'm acknowledging the fact of the matter. Okay. Okay, so yeah, we need to work we need to work this down here and this up here so that we meet in the middle. We need to figure out what's going here other than some random strip stores like this. And honestly, I should go onto the download station and look up strip mall and see what there is. Southwest Adobe strip mall stores. That's a lot of strip mall. We're going to go download all these when we're done. Before I close out, I'm going to download every single strip mall. And we're going to put some lower density commercial around. Lafayette, come here. Come here. Come on. Yeah, the people want to see you. You poor dumb thing. You just threw up all over the place. Oh, and your paws are all wet and muddy. They're all wet from being in the rain. I forgot it was raining. Oh, don't jump like that. You're gonna get hurt. He's a good boy, though. Anyway, um, yeah, poor puking pupper. He'll be okay though. He threw up a lot. Like he threw up a lot of gunk. I don't know what the hell he was eating. Is the thing. I think he must have been. I don't know. I assumed he had gotten into the cat box, but it didn't look like that or smell like that. Um, and my next assumption is just that he ate stuff while he was outside. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Um, let's do this down here. I'm just filling this in with grass, with basic grass. I sort of want a darker, like coal dirt looking dirt for this. Yeah, like this. Hopefully this comes out as dark as it looks. Nope, not even close. Damn it. What about this? PBR Dirt 5. Nope, not even close. Why doesn't it look like what it's supposed to... What is going on here? I assume it's the seasonal stuff? Like it gets... No, even that. I need dark dirt. Why is it not dark? None of this stuff is dark. Nope. PBR City Dirt. Okay, I mean that just looks like asphalt. Like there's this. Yeah, I mean that actually doesn't look bad. Okay. Okay, maybe I'm done complaining for now. Maybe I found something I like. But we're gonna have to go through and do details and things like that. This is supposed to be storage for coal cars, coal hoppers. So maybe I'll have to intersperse the dirt in with this. I know I used to do a technique of combining two different textures, but honestly that is most of the time it's way more trouble than it's worth. Um, and it doesn't even look all that good. So it went down for a while there. Did you say anything? Oh, did you lose me? I don't know. Depends. Where's the last time you talked to me? I said a lot of things. Hopefully, that'll all be captured in the VOD and I won't have a weird broken part in the middle. Usually I get told by OBS when I have a disconnection. Also, hi, Pat. So I'm going to assume that it wasn't that and it was something on the receiving end. I don't hear everyone else saying that they had problems, so maybe it was your internet. I don't know. Okay. So this is slightly underground. Yeah, no, it's a me issue, FIU. Okay. Okay. As long as you know. That's, yeah, okay. Straighten up and fly right. Oop, no. Undo that. Okay. I'm going to have to hide all of these yellow lines. Somehow. Probably like that. As we move through here. And the thing is, the texture looks... Textures look different under grass splines. I know that should sort of go without saying, but it's a fact. I can put down some grass splines in the middle of here, this very, grassy storage yard, which I don't think is going to be used very much. And we can go from there, where putting grass on top of these textures that I don't really like could make them a lot more palatable, especially if I use it to differentiate areas of different texture, because it sort of will look like they go together, you know. I mean, weed fighting on railroads is a thing. You know, it can be a challenge. Some railroads even went as far as to employ flamethrower cars for use against weeds. The Bangor and Aroostook being one of these, which is absolutely wild to me, considering how much trouble a forest fire is these days. Anyway, if you're not interested in weed fighting, 420s in a couple days, so congratulations. Enjoy that. The Baldwin weed. What was it? The Baldwin weed incinerator. Uh, was it called the incinerator? I thought it was called something else. A Baldwin weed destroyer or something. Was it incinerator? That it doesn't. I thought it had a much more metal name. Uh, I think it was destroyer. I want to go with destroyer. Final answer. Anyway, okay, let's do this. Let's do this. I have been really enjoying, because I haven't had the chance to talk about this since it came out. There hasn't been an under construction since it finally aired to the public. I have been really enjoying the response to the barge bridge story. Like, thoroughly enjoying everyone's reactions and the stuff that I've been sent and the things that I've been sort of tagged in and discussions that I've had with people over on the High Scored. It has been fantastic. You know, I have been blessed with a lot of really fun discussions. Um, yeah, the barge bridge or the draw boat, the draw boat. Um, what a great name. Um, yeah, and even someone said something like, I love it when Ellis gets to do Ellis is the host, and man, I also love it when I am the host. If you can't tell by all the things that I host, I'm gonna need to find uh, I'm gonna need to find some more stories before I get out there again. I absolutely need to pull together a couple more stories. Probably not bridge-related ones. Um, I will not be doing the barge bridge story. I actually did the barge bridge story yesterday for a group of people at my local Grange Hall. Was a blast. Even got some laughs out of the crowd. Um, but yeah, I will not be telling the barge bridge story today. I've told enough lately. Uh, I recommend that you go and watch Mark's video again. Um, although earlier this week I was supposed to drop the unabridged story, um, which has just gotten away from me because I've been so busy. I have it recorded. I just need to put it out. It's not as exciting as you might hope. My reading of it is fairly bland because it is a straight by the book reading of what I wrote. Um, and there will be no such extended edition for the Barge Bridge story because I didn't have a 14-page script ready for the Barge Bridge story. Anyway, I think I'm just about done. I could continue detailing this area, but connecting these two bits of scenery, we're getting closer, and I'm excited about that. And this yard with the grass in it, I like a lot, and I'm looking forward to sort of staging some stuff for a photo shoot, or, more importantly, actually driving trains around, which we will do after this section is done. And, we only have all this more to do, so it'll probably be 2029 for the rest of this town. We'll get to it. And yeah, go check those out. Man, I've been sinking. I've been slouching and slouching. I was sitting on my leg when we started. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I'm gonna go get some stir fry and pick up Gloria.